Hi guys, thanks for taking the time to learn a little bit more about feedback loops. The importance of feedback loops really has to do with this concept of homeostasis. And homeostasis is the ability of a cell or an organism to maintain balance between their internal self and their external environment. For example, if you go outside on a cold day, it's obviously cold out, and your body has to shiver and do different things to stay warm, to keep the same body temperature, balanced and constant. And feedback loops are really just pathways in our body that help maintain this balance, this homeostasis, either by increasing or decreasing some sort of stimulus. And so we have two types of feedback loops. We have negative feedback and positive feedback. And a negative feedback loop functions to decrease, reverse, or stop a stimulus, whereas a positive feedback functions to increase or amplify that stimulus. So let's talk about an example of each really quick. For example of negative feedback, let's assume you're hungry. Okay, so that's your stimulus. Your stomach sends a signal to your brain, so here are signals being sent, and our brain's response is to tell your body to go eat something. Very simple. And so that response decreases or stops your hunger, which was the stimulus. So this is a scenario where our stimulus was hunger, right? And our response stopped that stimulus. We're no longer hungry, and so this is negative feedback. Alternately, positive feedback, let's think about studying for a quiz. Okay, so the stimulus is you have a quiz coming up and you study for it. Signal is sent, you take the quiz, and the response is that you get a good grade on the quiz because you studied. Good job. Okay, and so that response of you getting a good grade on your quiz makes you want to study for more quizzes in the future. So if the stimulus was studying, now you want to study more, that stimulus has increased, it has gotten bigger. And so this is an example of positive feedback because our response increased our stimulus. Okay, if we think about these with some examples, let's practice for a bit. So example 1, imagine that you just got a puppy. In your backyard, you're playing ball with your new puppy. You throw a ball, she chases after it. When your puppy comes back with the ball, you say, "Good job." And you rub her head to show her that she did what you wanted her to do. Take a second to think. Do you think this is positive or negative feedback? Let's see if we can identify the stimulus. So your puppy is playing ball and brings the ball back to you. Stimulus. What's the response? Well, you pat her on the head and you say, "Good dog," right? And so does that response, that positive attention, increase or decrease the behavior, fetching the ball, stimulus? Well, your puppy likes the positive attention after fetching the ball, so they continue to play fetch. What do you think now? Positive? Negative? The answer is positive. So in this case, the stimulus, fetching the ball, was increased, it continued because of the response, the positive attention, positive feedback. Let's try this one. Your new puppy pees on the couch. You then say, "No, bad dog," and you place the puppy outside. What do you think about this one? Positive or negative feedback? Let's identify the stimulus. Your puppy pees on the couch. That's the stimulus. Gross. What's the response? That's us saying, "No, bad dog," and placing the puppy outside. Does this response increase or decrease the stimulus? Well, hopefully the puppy will learn that peeing on the couch is bad and hopefully no longer do it because you've given this negative attention. Okay, so stimulus was puppy peeing on the couch. Response was this negative attention. Hopefully the dog pees less on the couch. What do you think this is? Positive or negative feedback? Answer is negative. Right, so our response, decreased behavior, decreased the stimulus, so this is negative feedback. When you go through scenarios or examples of feedback in the human body, these are some good questions to think about. Right, so number 1, what type of feedback loop is it, positive or negative? Just like we did with those two examples, the first thing you're going to want to do is actually answer number 3 and 4 here. So identify the stimulus, identify the response, And that way you can see if the response increases or decreases the stimulus. Another good thing to think about is number 2, what body systems are involved. So if we go back to our example of staying warm and temperature, well, we're shivering, we're moving, so that's probably our muscular system. We're sensing the environment, right, the temperature, so that's nervous system. We're probably sending blood throughout our body. One of the responses to temperature is called vasodilation or vasoconstriction, and that's when your blood vessels get smaller or larger to keep heat in or to release heat. So our circulatory system is also involved. So these are good things to think about what all is involved, what parts of our body need to function in order to maintain homeostasis. And so that leads into the last question, number 5. How does this maintain homeostasis? How is this creating balance for our body? Okay, so hopefully that helps you understand feedback loops and how it relates to homeostasis, and you're able to tackle those scenarios now.